Nelly Korda, the sweet swinging LPGA golfer. Let's take a look at her golf swing. In the setup, it looks to me like it is in a very neutral position here. The ball position is relatively middle for a short iron, so that's pretty standard. Her feet flares are pretty standard, and her grip is also in a very neutral position. There are a couple things that she does later in her golf swing that I think potentially if she wanted to change her ball flight preferences that she could change. But anyway, from the setup to the takeaway, you'll notice that her hips start to rotate a little bit, but not a significant amount early in her takeaway. As she takes it up to the top of the backswing, that's when those hips start to engage and rotate back behind her quite significantly. And what you'll notice is that this left knee starts to bend and this right leg starts to extend. This right knee starts to extend. Now, why that is important is because it creates this incline in the hips, meaning the right hip is higher than the left hip. This is important because it gives us the ability to be able to push back into the ground. Because the golf ball is on the ground, we wouldn't want these hips to be swinging level. We would want these hips to be swinging on an incline so that it's easier for us to be able to push into the ground and therefore create power, as the reaction force from the ground will generate more club head speed. As she takes it to the top of the backswing, I want to point out the head movement that she has had from the setup to the top of the backswing position. Her head started in this position here, and now up to the top it's moved significantly down into the left. The old saying of keeping your head still is definitely not something that I believe in, and I'm very surprised that many people still do. But as she takes this club into transition, this is where I think that if she wanted to change her ball flight preferences, or if she didn't like what she was seeing potentially in regards to the golf ball going too high, then there is some room for improvement here. As she shifts into transition, she does have quite a significant lateral shift into the left side, so her pressure is moving into the left side, which is very common, and most likely every single tour player is going to do this. But without that incline of her hips, then she would struggle to do that, and she would potentially get that left hip significantly high. Now, herein lies what she could potentially do in order to lower her ball flight, if that is what she would prefer. I don't know Nelly personally. She might like to hit it quite high, but it does seem to me that Nelly could shift her body movements so that she could start to flight the golf ball down a little bit. Because when she gets late into the downswing, she gets the spine tilt that is quite significant away from the target, meaning she's in quite a bit of right side bend. So think right shoulder crunching towards the right hip. Now, for someone that doesn't have a massive amount of speed compared to PGA Tour players, then in order for her to be able to hit up on the golf ball and launch it up in the air, then this right side bend is crucial for her. However, if she does think that she's going to be hitting it too high, or her preference is to have it a little bit lower, then I really think that this would be a point of focus for her. As she gets into impact, you'll notice that that angle continues to increase. And what that's going to do is it's going to get her attack angle higher and therefore launch the ball higher up in the air. Now, who am I to say that Nelly should change her preferences? She probably loves the way she hits the golf ball. I mean, it's done her very well in her career, and she's one of the best players in the world. And so that's just my ideas on how I would approach it, whether or not she wanted to change her preferences or she didn't like how the ball was coming out. That's potentially something that I would look at if she was hitting it too high. That right side bend is going to cause her to hit significantly up on it, and the golf ball will get in the air. Now, it might be absolutely perfect for what Nelly wants right now, but that is how I would analyze Nelly's golf swing.